So here's the thing, when you're pushing your body to the limit and your heart is pounding out of your chest and your muscles are burning and your lungs are gasping for breath, your body's not craving creatine. It's not craving nitric oxide. It's not craving carbs, and it's not craving protein. It's craving oxygen. Unless you're an ultra endurance athlete, oxygen is pretty much always the limiting factor in muscle performance, and that's just a scientific fact. There are basically 3 things you need to know about how oxygen affects athletic performance. 1. Oxygen combines with glucose to create ATP, the main energy source for your muscles. The more ATP your body creates, the more powerful and explosive your muscles will be. 2. When your muscles don't receive enough oxygen to support their exertion, they begin to produce lactic acid, which can cause muscle fatigue and failure. The more oxygen your muscles receive, the slower the production of lactic acid and the slower the rate of muscle fatigue, which results in greater endurance. And 3, oxygen is needed by your body to break down lactic acid after exercise. So the more oxygen you provide your body post-exercise, the faster your muscles can recover. The thing about oxygen is that it should always work. It's a scientific fact that the more oxygen you get into your muscles, the better they perform and the faster they recover. If I took an athlete, let's say to Denver, where there's less oxygen in the air, and had them do a really tough workout, then took that same athlete down to sea level and had them do the same workout, 100% of the time at sea level, they would have more power, more endurance, and faster recovery times, simply because there is more available oxygen in the air at sea level. In the same way that vitamin C always neutralizes free radicals in your body, oxygen will always help your body create more energy and endurance and reduce recovery times. That's just how your body uses oxygen. But like with any supplement out there, the key issue is how much you take. If you take too little of any supplement, it probably won't have much impact on you. But when you start taking the right amount for your body, all of a sudden the results can be dramatic. And the same goes for oxygen. Once you take the right amount for your body and exertion level, the results can be very significant. So there's no question as to whether or not oxygen works. The only question is whether or not our product provides enough oxygen to create a noticeable difference in athletic performance. After almost 3 years of putting hundreds of athletes on oxygen in all different sports, I can say without any hesitation that I really believe it does. I probably have a 90 to 95% success rate over that time. And with the ones who didn't get the results, I really believe it was simply because they weren't willing to work with me long enough to figure out how to use the product properly. There's definitely a learning curve when it comes to using oxygen, but if you take the time to figure it out and get it dialed in for you, it should work well every time you use it. The main benefits being reported by the athletes that I work with are increased power and explosiveness, increased endurance, reduced lactic acid muscle burn, faster warm-up times, faster recovery between sets, and faster recovery between training days, which allows them to come into each subsequent workout stronger because they're more fully recovered. Many competitive athletes ask me if using oxygen for energy all the time will create a dependence and reduce their overall fitness levels. And my honest answer is that I have no reason to believe that it will happen if the product is used correctly, based on what I'm seeing with the athletes who've been using it consistently over a long period of time. There's a new training philosophy called hyperoxic training that is really catching on, especially with high-level endurance athletes. And hyperoxic training is pretty much the opposite of altitude training. The athlete actually trains under elevated oxygen levels by wearing an oxygen mask while riding a stationary bike or running on a treadmill. By having the added oxygen, these athletes are able to push higher powers and faster speeds for longer periods of time. And the theory is that by having the athlete consistently perform at higher levels, their muscles respond much faster to the training. And if you look up hyperoxic training on the internet, you'll find a lot of research articles that explain how well this philosophy is actually working. And just to simplify, let me put it to you this way. Anytime you can train harder, do more reps, push heavier weights, do more sets, and recover faster, you will get faster results from your training, period. I don't think anyone will disagree with that statement. So if oxygen supplementation allows you to train harder and recover faster, it makes total sense that your muscles will respond faster to that training simply because of the increase in workload. So here are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Would you rather be a step ahead of your competition or a step behind your competition? Would you rather get faster results from your training or slower results from your training? Would you rather perform to the best of your ability in competition, or is performing your best in competition not that important to you? The bottom line is that if you're not using oxygen for energy, you're not getting the fastest possible results from your training, and you're not performing your best in competition. That I can guarantee you. So you need to either get on it or get left behind. Think about that.